Huge transfer shock at Ibrox as Aston Villa move for Nico Raskin, chaos over Josh Mulligan, with Dundee playing hardball, fresh Shankland drama that nobody saw coming, Max Aarens closing in on stunning loan switch, and a massive Champions League clash with Panathinaikos locked in. It's all happening. Right, here we go then. The road to the Champions League has just been mapped out for you, and the first obstacle in Rangers' path is none other than Panathinaikos. A trip to Greece is on the cards, but before that it's Ibrox under the lights, and you know how that place breathes on European nights. Russell Martin's first competitive game as Rangers boss will be at home in the second qualifying round, scheduled for the 22nd or 23rd of July. Then it's off to Athens a week later for the return leg on either the 29th or 30th. The exact dates will be nailed down soon, but the message is clear. It's time to get ready. Now let's talk about the opponents. Panathinaikos are no mugs. They're the highest-ranked side we could have drawn at this stage and made it to the last 16 of the Conference League last season before getting knocked out by Fiorentina. But let's be honest, this is Rangers, this is Ibrox, and this is European football. If you can't get up for this, you're in the wrong sport. Panathinaikos finished second in the Greek Super League, a distant 16 points behind Olympiakos. Their home ground, the Apostolos Nikolaidis Stadium, only holds around 16,000, which, let's face it, is a far cry from the cauldron they'll face at Ibrox. You can already picture the banners, the noise, and that unmistakable Glasgow hostility welcoming them to Govan. Should Rangers get past the Greeks, the next round will throw up another big test. Possible opponents include Nice from France, Fenerbahce from Turkey, Salzburg from Austria, or Victoria Plzen from the Czech Republic. Another tough hurdle, but again, that's the price you pay when you want to dine at Europe's top table. Lose this tie, and it's straight into the Europa League third qualifying round. Not ideal, but there's still a lifeline. Keep winning, and it's all eyes on the Champions League playoffs by late August, where potential clashes with Benfica or Club Brugge await. And with the backdrop of the new American ownership and Russell Martin's fresh start in the dugout, this is more than just a qualifying round. This is a statement moment. With the new regime, fresh investment, and all this talk of ambition, if Rangers can't get past Panathinaikos, would that already make Russell Martin's appointment look like a mistake? I reckon this news alone deserves a like, don't you think? It really helps the channel grow, mate. Right, you've waited long enough for this one, and here we are again, the Lawrence Shankland saga rumbling on like a broken record at a Glasgow house party. The striker, who's been linked with Rangers more times than Celtic fans have made excuses for bottle jobs in Europe, is back in the headlines. Shankland, now 29, is officially a free agent after his contract with Hearts expired. You've heard all the stats by now: 68 goals in 137 games for the Jambos. Not exactly Erling Haaland numbers, but still a record that screams one thing: this lad knows where the net is. Now, before anyone gets carried away, let's call it as it is. His last season wasn't his finest in terms of goals. Just 9 finishes in 43 appearances, but, and it's a big but, he also racked up 11 assists. That tells you he was playing a different role, dropping deeper, linking play, and Hearts weren't exactly setting the heather alight as a team either. There's a bit of extra spice to this story, though. Just as Rangers confirmed the signing of Lyle Cameron on a free after his Dundee contract ran down, Shankland was caught liking the announcement post on Instagram. Coincidence? You know fine. Well, it isn't. And when you've got Jack Butland, Charlie Adam, Alan Hutton, and even Glenn Kamara giving it a like too, you can't help but wonder what's brewing behind the scenes at Ibrox. The situation now? There's competition. West Brom are sniffing around, and clubs from Saudi Arabia are apparently flashing silly money like they've just won the Euro Millions. But surely With the lure of ibrox, the chance to play in front of 50,000 and to be part of something special under Russell Martin, Shankland would choose Govan over the championship or a desert payday. But here's the real talking point for you. Given the years of links, the goals he's scored, and the fact he's available for absolutely nothing, if Rangers don't sign Lawrence Shankland now, would that be a total dereliction of duty from the ibrox board? The latest twist in the Josh Mulligan saga is leaving more questions than answers, and frankly, you're right to feel a bit fed up. For weeks now, you've heard the whispers, medical booked, deal close, Mulligan to ibrox looking like a done thing. Yet as of today, it's Dundee, not Rangers, making the official announcements. The Dens Park Club came out on Tuesday, the 17th of June, confirming that their contract offer to Mulligan is still very much on the table. That doesn't exactly scream imminent Rangers signing, does it? It reeks more of hesitation, dithering, and a lack of bite in the market. And let's be honest, when you're talking about signing a 22-year-old midfielder from Dundee, this shouldn't be dragging on like a soap opera cliffhanger. Mulligan played over 2,600 minutes for Dundee last season. No goals, 5 assists. Not world-beating numbers, but still a young Scottish talent with room to develop. And this was supposed to be the new era under the 49ers' ownership. More professionalism, more decisiveness, more doing things the ibrox way. Not more of this faffing about. You've already seen Lyle Cameron arrive from Dundee on a free, solid move, and one that showed a bit of forward planning. But this Mulligan situation just smacks of the same old lack of urgency that's haunted Rangers in recent windows, while Celtic continue to cherry-pick from within Scotland whenever they feel like it. Rangers seem stuck writing love letters they never send. Given the promise of this so-called new era, does this drawn-out, hesitant approach for a player like Mulligan already prove that nothing's really changed behind the scenes at ibrox? Rangers dipping back into the English market, and this time it's Max Aarens who's edging closer to ibrox, a name that once had Premier League pundits drooling, tipped for £15 million moves to Spurs, now about to rock up in Govan on a season-long loan from Bournemouth. Funny how football works, eh? At 25, Aarens still has that tag of potential, though let's not kid ourselves, his career has stalled a bit. Barely kicked a ball at Bournemouth, 5 appearances on loan at Valencia, and now looking for a stage to rebuild his reputation. And where better than ibrox? Under the lights, with the pressure of 50,000 breathing down your neck, and with the demand for silverware every single week. What makes this deal even more intriguing is the comparison folk are making between Aarens and Ryan Kent. Remember, Kent came in on loan, tore it up, ended up costing Rangers £7.5 million, became a cult hero, a title winner, and ran Celtic ragged more than once. If Max Aarens can deliver even half of that impact, you'd take it in a heartbeat. The question now is, where does this leave James Tavernier? The captain didn't exactly have his finest season last term. His defending was exposed far too often, and with Russell Martin demanding high-energy fullbacks who can press and recover, Aarens could be coming in as more than just cover. He's being described as a great athlete and someone with fluidity in both attacking and defensive phases. That sounds like a starter, not a squad filler. And let's not ignore the wider picture here. This has to be just the start. Russell Martin is overseeing a full squad overhaul, and if this is a sign of the type of talent coming through the door, then you better buckle up for a busy summer. But here's the real grenade for you. Given Tavernier's defensive weaknesses last season, would you actually drop the club captain for a lone player like Aarens if it meant strengthening the right side of defense? Well, it wouldn't be a Rangers summer without a transfer story to get your blood pressure rising. And this time it's Nico Raskin who's caught the eye of Aston Villa. Yes, you heard that right. Unai Emery's side are reportedly in talks with Raskin's camp with Belgium's national team boss Rudi Garcia, even giving the move his personal blessing. Apparently he wants Raskin to build chemistry with Yuri Tielemans and Amadou Onana ahead of the next World Cup. How about that for unsettling the dressing room just as pre-season's about to start? Let's just pause for a second, though. Raskin still has 2 years left on his Rangers contract. Only last month, he was speaking like a man happy in Glasgow, saying he's been enjoying life at Ibrox and looking forward to next season. But as you know, football loyalty is about as stable as the Celtic back four in Europe. One sniff of English Premier League wages and heads start to turn. For Rangers, losing Raskin now would be a disaster. He's one of the few midfielders with a bit of bite, energy, and personality. Exactly the kind of player Russell Martin should be building the midfield around, not shipping off for a few million quid just because Villa fancy another project. Meanwhile, there's a tasty little subplot brewing over in the Champions League qualifiers. Linfield versus Shelbourne, Northern Ireland versus Republic of Ireland, and here's the real Glasgow connection for you. Linfield, of course, managed by former Rangers striker David Healy. Shelbourne, led by none other than Damien Duff, a man who once parked himself on the Celtic bench as part of Neil Lennon's backroom staff. You couldn't script it better. The first legs in Dublin early July, the second in Belfast, and you know what kind of atmosphere that's going to create. Both sides are a long way from the Champions League proper, but with that kind of history, there'll be no love lost over those 2 legs. But back to Raskin, with Villa hovering and England's money looming. If the Ibrox board actually let him go this summer, does that just prove once and for all that Rangers are still operating like a selling club rather than one serious about competing at the top level? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers. That'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.